Hi, my name is Minouche Kaftel, and I'm a singer, actress, and voiceover artist. And I've just been interviewed by Keith Andrew on the Keith Andrew Network show. It was a privilege and a pleasure to be interviewed by him. And he is an inspiration to us all to show you that you can do whatever you want in life if you just put your mind to it.
The whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove them you can still amount to something. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That is right. This is episode 1095. 1095 available on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all social medias. Our goal is to reach 500 and more views. So if you're watching, you're definitely, I'm going to say entitled, obligated. You are obligated, if you're watching this, to leave a comment. Why watch something if you're not going to interact with it? With that being said, we have a great guest. He's coming from the United Kingdom. We just did a double interview. Now we're doing a one-on-one interview. With that being said, the first question I want to talk to you about is icebreakers. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Minouche Kaftel. I'm originally from South Africa, but at the moment I'm in London. I've lived in London for quite a while, but I love traveling. I've been all over the world, mainly for my music. So I went to sing in Turkey, I went to sing in Russia, I went to sing in France. I've recorded in different studios. I recorded in Hamburg, I was on the charts in Sweden. And I'm passionate about creativity, about music, singing and acting, and inspiring other people to achieve their dreams.
No, I agree with you. It's all about reaching your goal and being passionate. One thing I do want to ask you real fast, is there a way you can move over towards the guitar? Because I'm going to shorten the screen and I don't want to cut you off.
Do you want the guitar as a one?
Oh no, I wanted you to move more towards the right because I'm going to cut some of the screen off when I do the
editing. Sure. My right or your this?
Oh, right now you're perfect.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that. I just set up in the beginning. I wasn't paying attention. So the other question I want to ask you is, you made a transition from being in Africa to the UK. What are some of your memories about living in Africa? And did you make the right choice? Do you feel you made the right choice in moving to the UK?
That's a really interesting question because it's something I've been thinking about lately, because I love South Africa. I love the climate. The people are so friendly. The food is amazing. And I studied music and did my degree there and learned my craft. But coming to London, I came to study more singing. I studied with Ian Adam, who taught Sarah Brightman and Michael Crawford. So London is the home of the West End and singers. And this is where I got my single released. Well, it was released all over Europe. This is where I got my big break. So I was always very ambitious and I wanted to explore the world. And coming to London has meant that I've been able to travel all over the place. And I've been to Iceland, I've been singing in Turkey, but I've also traveled to Barcelona and Milan because everything's an hour away. But I do miss South Africa. It is home to me. I had to go back there last year. Sadly, my parents passed away. And I also went for a wedding and I saw friends and family, and it's a great place. But I always knew that I was very ambitious and very open-minded and wanted to meet new people from all over the world. So even now I'm meeting you from America. I'm like, oh, I want to go to America. I have been to New York and I love New York. So I like traveling. So it's something I've actually been thinking about lately. So you kind of hit the nail on the head because I have been feeling a bit homesick. But for my career, it was the right decision.
Now, for me, I do traveling too. I travel from my chair to the bed. I also travel to the bathroom. I occasionally make multiple trips, but I just want to make you laugh. That's all that really matters.
No, it's great because on Zoom you can go anywhere. And that's what I did as soon as lockdown happened. I was like, this is my opportunity. So I went, I have been to lots of things in America and New York, and lots of Zoom events, and I've performed on Zoom and global productions. And it's amazing because you can reach in 2 seconds, you can go anywhere. And as you said, you don't have to leave your living room, and you can connect to other people all over the world.
Yeah, you're right. I got distracted real fast. I'm easily distracted. I was gonna show you, you can go anywhere. Unfortunately, I deleted the backgrounds. But for an example, it's now summertime. It's now winter. It's summer. It's brewery. So it's amazing you can do. This is actually one of my second logos that I made. It's really nice.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I had so many different logos. I'm like, you know what? Instead of, I had one with the moving backgrounds on it, and then you see my arm keeps freaking disappearing. And I'm like, okay, let's just get rid of the moving backgrounds and have the main focus on the logo. But my arm keeps disappearing on the screen. But
But it's
but
amazing. You can go anywhere. Like you can go to space. Like I've got a painting there of space, but I haven't. I don't know how to do backgrounds and things like that. But I have my painting. So we'll
well,
just imagine we're in space.
I can always teach you. It's really easy.
Okay, thanks.
I actually, actually, there's an audition I wanted to be a part of. So everyone who's in this meeting, you have to have a nice clear background, no advertising. Hell is that? If I'm not be in this meeting for an hour, I'm putting this up. And then
Exactly.
and then most of the classes are so boring and depressing. I'm like, I'm gonna have fun in this. You gotta keep me out of Zoom. Well, I give you a reason to kick me out of Zoom. I played one of my favorite parts in Dumbo was the Dumbo Pyramid. So while he was talking about auditioning, I had on the background Dumbo playing. I can't do that now because that is copyrighted, and I don't want to get my this episode copyrighted. But it was really funny as we were sitting there listening. If you're watching the screen behind me, it's like the film was playing. So I don't know.
Fantastic.
I try to
But it's
mess
kind
with
of like
everyone.
it's about having fun. I think if you are creative, you want to have fun. Life is so hard and so heavy. We have to enjoy what we do. We have to enjoy connecting with other people, making people feel good, having fun, and expressing ourselves. We're individuals. Everybody, like, why did you decide to wear that top? Why did I decide to wear this hat and not another hat? Or I had it all. It's like, be yourself, no matter what they say, as the song says. And sometimes you do have to follow the rules. It's like, yeah, for auditions, they want a white background and they want it done, and you've got to label it the correct way. But the song that I wrote that got onto the charts, I put some French in it. Why? I don't know. I just felt like singing in French for some reason. Why not? And then it sold all over Europe and it became like Euro pop. But I didn't think beforehand. I just thought, yeah, let's put some French in it. And there's a song I wanted to sing the other day, and it's very high, and I can go very high. And then this person said to me, "Oh no, you can't sing that song. It's for this person or that person, or it's a guy's song." And I'm like, but if it's my album, I can
Yeah,
do whatever I want to do. And dare to be, why should I try and be the same as I can only be me? My name is Minouche. I've already got an unusual name. I'm an unusual person. I can't help it. So I might as well embrace it.
well, if it makes you feel better, I have a learning disability, so we're in the same boat.
But that's it exactly. It's like everybody will tell you can't do this or you can't do that, or they want you to stay in the box. What box? Where is the box? I don't even know there is a box.
That's true. You mentioned about traveling. The only places I've traveled, I don't drive, so I go where my family goes. We've been, see, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We've been to Potsdam. I've been in Potsdam, Plattsburgh, um, New
Where are you
Paltz.
now, Keith?
Oh, New York.
Ah, because when I went to New York, I loved it. The energy in New York's amazing. I went on a cruise to the Bermuda Triangle,
Oh,
and there
what
was
was
a
that
hurricane.
like?
We almost got stuck in the Bermuda Triangle.
You
It
bring,
was. I've been offered a job on a cruise for 6 months, and I turned it down because I didn't want to go away for 6 months singing on a cruise. And I was just on a cruise for 5 days, and the boat was rocking, and we were kind of teasing each other, like we were in the bar. And we're like, no, the boat isn't rocking. You just had too much to drink. We're imagining it, but the boat was rocking. So I'm not sure what I thought about that, but I love going to New York. And who knows, maybe I'll come and visit you in real
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is kind of real life, but yeah, if you come to New York,
life.
it definitely get you a drink or go out for lunch. The next question I want to ask you, brought up an interesting point. You said you traveled through the Bermuda Triangle. Do you believe it's actually a doorway going through time?
You know, Keith, I believe in like everything. I believe anything is possible. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it was kind of a bit of a joke because we were in Bermuda and then there was a hurricane. And I'm like, why did I choose to go to Bermuda in the middle of a hurricane season? My dad said, don't go, it's October. I'm like, no, what's the, I'll go. I'm not sure if I believe that for definite, but I do believe that anything is possible. Um, I'm very into science fiction, and science fiction has now become science fact. Things that people thought, robots, for example. I, Robot, Isaac Asimov wrote the book I, Robot, and now we've got robots. The things that people thought you couldn't do. I mean, who would have thought that we'd be talking, even mobile phones and watching movies on your phone and things like that? Who would have thought it was possible? And Ray Bradbury, he wrote books about things that were going to happen. And also the book 1984 as well was very kind of prophetic. But I'm not sure if I believe that. Who knows? I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think it's true. Dick Tracy, had FaceTime, smartwatches. Simpsons predicted a lot of things that came true. Unfortunately, Trump became president, but you don't want to talk about politics, but they predicted that. But Trump, oh, that was predicted in 2000.
Huh.
But they predicted that. They predicted the coronavirus, and also I think it's Tom Clancy or James Patterson. One of them has a contact with the government, an insider. And let's see, this is 2020. The book came out about 2018 to 2017, and it was called Contagion. And it's about, a virus that escaped from a lab.
Hmm.
Now, fast forward, now we're dealing with it. So how did they know? I think it's like Tom Clancy because he has like all these government connections, all of this. All those books later on came true.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you want to look at that. But anyway, but the next question I want to ask you is who influenced you to becoming a professional singer, and what were some of your favorite songs that you ever performed?
So my dad was a composer and he was also in the film business and we owned a cinema. So we had like the censor board coming to our house. We were watching horror films and always watching lots of movies. And I always listened to him playing the piano and he was playing his own songs. So I always had a very good ear for music. And from a young age, I was singing. I was working out songs on the piano, but I was singing. We had a snooker room, which had great acoustics. And I was singing in the snooker room, imagining that I was going to be singing in front of audiences. And the first song that I sang was from The Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland. I was always interested in listening to the great singers like Streisand, Cleo Lane, Lena Horne, Ella Fitzgerald, the jazz singers. But I grew up listening to everything. We had Barry Manilow, we had ABBA. I was also in an ABBA tribute band, great musicians, great singers, the Carpenters, Elvis. I just picked up whatever was there. So I was listening to Supertramp. I was listening to what my brother was listening to, my sister was listening to, my dad was listening to, and I didn't stop listening. And then I would copy people like Streisand and Petula Clark. And I didn't realize that I was hitting all these high notes. I didn't realize they were difficult. And I was kind of just having fun and singing opera. And then I went and joined the performing arts workshop, which was a school after school, a performing arts school. We also grew up watching Fame, the TV show. And it was like, this is what made me the most happy, was being on stage and getting into shows. And then I joined this performing arts school. And they said, oh, you could do opera. And I was like, nah, what they're talking about. And then they took me very high, and I was like, oh, this is easy for me. But I practice very hard, and I work my craft all the time. I'm always practicing my scales so that I can still hit top C or higher than top C now. But I'm more of a pop singer, although I'm classically trained. So I sing jazz and pop and all different styles. But I just love music, and I love listening to rock music as well. And I really like Sting and people like that in AC/DC. But I'm very kind of purist about what I like. If I don't like it, I won't listen to it. I'd rather listen to the old stuff than the new stuff, if that makes sense. Although there are some great new artists, and I like bands as well and singer-songwriters.
No, absolutely. Don't mind me. I got distracted. I was like, why is my face so freaking red? And then I checked on my phone. It's like, okay, false alarm. I'm not like having it. Because I don't know if you saw it, but my face got beat dark red. And I was kind of like, what the hell? Why do I look like a tomato? So I
Oh,
looked
I
at
didn't
my,
notice it.
oh, you probably, if you watch it back, you probably notice. But, it's pretty interesting. I think you had an interesting career. Was there any artists that you wanted to personally work with? Give me an example. The Rolling
Yeah.
Stones, the Beatles, um, Ozzy Osbourne. Did you? Okay, here's a fun one. Who were some of your favorite celebrities that you got the chance to meet?
Well, I've done some incredible things. I mean, I've been on film sets with Johnny Depp, Daniel Craig, Anthony Hopkins. I got to meet him. We chatted. He was really, really friendly. Such a nice, humble man. We worked on a film together that was directed by Woody Allen. That was incredible. Woody Allen, just going, okay, okay, instead of saying cut. I've worked with lots of celebrities. The last film that I did with Judi Dench, she wasn't there that day, but Jennifer Saunders was there. And we're just chatting away, and she was helping me out. I had to pin this thing on her, and it wasn't going on. She went, don't worry, I'll do it. And um, one of the girls, I was on a show, a TV show, and the TV presenter was helping me and doing my hair and getting me coffee. Such nice people, and almost the more famous they are, the nicer they are. But I would like to work with people like Sting, Paul McCartney, of course. But I have to think I've worked with so many different types of people. And Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music. I met him and was in his studio. And then I've worked in so many different studios all over the world. And I do a lot of voiceover work as well. So I'm still doing that. And I had a job last week. And then you look up on the wall, and there's all these pictures there of like Bryan Cranston and Ian McKellen and all these famous people. And you're like, oh, I'm sitting in the same chair they sat in. Like I'm not just, I'm doing the same job that they're doing, which is fantastic. And the concert that I did, there were a lot of famous people on the same bill as me. Aha. And the guy from Aha gave up his seat for me, which was amazing. So well mannered. And China Crisis were there, and we were doing a tour of the museum, and I had an interpreter, and I had bodyguards, and they had bodyguards. But it was also such fun as well, like the parties, and yeah, I have to think about it because I've met so many famous people or been on the same set as them. It was only a small thing that I did, but I was on the same set as Meryl Streep, and I really admire her. She's such a great actress. And watching people how they work, Brad Pitt, that's another one, and just it's really inspiring to watch them do their craft, and how Hugh Jackman and how they, he's warming up his voice for Les Mis, and you get this inside view into it. But musically, there's still more people that I want to work with, and I kind of forget who I've met who are celebrities because they're just real people. Everyone is like us, and everyone's the same. So, but I did meet Mandela, which I mentioned in the other interview, because he rang our bell in South Africa, and that was really exciting. So
Well,
I've met a lot of people just by being in the right place at the right time.
let me ask you this. You are a hands down, well, would you say a Hall of Famer? Or would you say you're close to being an upcoming Hall of Famer? Like, what were some of your favorite awards that you have ever won?
I've got an award from the Jewish Music Institute. It was a Millennium Award. So that was lottery money. And I'm trying to think if I've got any of my certificates. I just moved, so I've got everything in boxes. I was on the cover of a magazine recently. It's quite exciting. And then people are like, wow. But it's not my first cover. I've been on another cover. This record that I did, which I showed you in the last interview, when you've got a record in your hand and you know you've made your dream come true, it's like when I was a child, I knew that I wanted to get a record contract. So when this arrived in the post, it was like, oh, I've done it now. My first release was on a Christmas compilation album of Bing Crosby and Elaine Page. And I was the only local artist, and they were playing it on the radio every year. When you hear yourself on the radio, it's quite exciting.
It is.
And when you see yourself on something on TV, that's also exciting as well. Like working on EastEnders, and you're dancing in the Queen Vic, and you're like, oh, I'm here. You know, and everything's very secretive. You can't tell anybody what you're doing. And everything's a lot smaller.
Well, let me ask you this question, and to see if we're on the same wavelength. For me, my parents are very supportive of what I do, as long as no one shows up at the front door, that is. But they say if it makes you happy, do it. So the question I want to ask you, were your family supportive of everything that you accomplished? Were they kind of skeptical? Did they say, you know, it makes you happy, do it? Were they kind of hesitant saying, are you really ready and you don't know what exactly you're getting yourself into? It could be you think it's going to be all great in grammar. Were they hesitant? Were they scared for you?
Yes, I was told to get a degree so that I'd have something to fall back on to, which would be teaching. And my dad managed me, so he was very supportive when I was about 20 years old, and he was the practical person. He got all the footage of my concerts, and then being in the film business, we edited my own videos, and then we sold that to television in another country. And he was very supportive of me, and I really miss him. He just passed away. But when I was younger, no, I was very shy, and I think I didn't like to push myself forward. It's hard to explain. I mean, when I was very little, I was a performer, and I was out there in it. And then when I hit puberty, I got a bit more shy. And initially, I wasn't so much encouraged. I mean, I was given lessons, and anything I wanted to do, I could do. But it was like I went to a very competitive school. So people were competing, and if you were a little bit different, you could get missed.
Right.
But I held on to the idea myself. I always knew I want to be a singer. This is something I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And then I did it. And then the acting I sort of fell into by having fun. I do like acting. I'm very interested in psychology. So I use a lot of I've got a psychology diploma, and I use a lot of that in my acting, and I like expressing emotions and through a part, and how do people tick. But I think people are often discouraged to follow their dreams. Like, oh, it's not practical. And it's not practical, let's be honest. It's not really practical. I mean, if you become a doctor, you know, rather than a musician, it's a much more stable lifestyle. But if you want to do something, you have to do it. If it's in your blood, you have to do it, and nothing will stop you. That's how I feel.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, for me too, you know, I want to be a first person to do things. You know, my family has lawyers. Well, my immediate family, you know, are teachers and all that. And I don't consider them family, but I have cousins, you know, who are warriors. But when you tell people, you know, hey, he's a talk show host with a disability, and people are automatically assume, well, that's an oxymoron, because when you think about people with disabilities, you don't think of entertainment. You don't think about talk show. So I'm glad to be the first, at least in my family, to show you with a disability, I made a statement, and now I can open doors.
That's fantastic. Yes, you set a precedent, and other people can do it. Tom Cruise is dyslexic. You know, a lot of people, you have to find ways of learning a script, but you can get around it. And then you've got something unique to offer and something interesting to offer that's different. But it's also, everyone has something to offer. Everyone is a human being that has something to offer. And when people are negative or they say, oh, you can't do this. And I'm like, well, why not? Why can't I do this? Anything is possible. If anything is possible to the person who does it. What's that saying? I think that nothing is impossible until you prove it's done. And then you're like, well, look, it's done. You can't tell me it's impossible. I've done it.
Now, I agree. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but just like our last interview, I want you to be brutally honest. I have no cards on my sleeve. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you? Actually, let me ask you this in a different way. We can dissect it a little more. When I first sent you the message sharing my story, did you think it was real or did you think it was a scam?
Keith, I don't know how I knew, but I knew it was real. I have had people obviously approach you and they're not who they say they are, and it's a scam. And it's also, like people are, well, what's the financial benefit to me?
Yeah.
Can I use it? I mean, when you sent me the letter, and I was like, oh, well, I want to promote myself. So sometimes I'll go on something so that I can use it, or then you get the footage. And I thought, you know what? He's doing this by the book. Everything that you're doing, you sign the form. And I don't know how, I just knew it was real. And I got a feeling, I get feelings for things. And I found it very inspiring. And the message that you are, I wouldn't say you're trying to communicate, because you are communicating this message. And the way you're doing it is all very professional. And even when some people, they don't, you're dressed up, and I love the shiny top. I've got one like it. Next time I'm going to wear my shiny top. When I do performances, you take it seriously and you're professional. I knew it wasn't a scam. And I do love talking about, singing and acting and what I've done. And because it's nice to feel, look, I've achieved stuff. And I can sit back a little bit now, maybe relax a little bit, because I have achieved stuff. But there's more stuff to achieve. And I've fallen into doing the voiceover work. I used to announce all the programs for Hallmark TV. So I was on TV. My voice was on TV like 5 times a day. And my parents would invite people over to listen to me. It's quite funny. But it's like, it's about being focused, but you can fall into things. But with you, I just knew it was real. And you're like, this is what I want to do. And then I saw a couple of my friends commenting, and I thought, I want to get involved in this. I want to be interviewed by this person. I just felt excited. And the message of, you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, we keep repeating it, but most people, they don't have it inside. Already they don't have it. And then other people from the outside are discouraging them. And I think more people need to be encouraged.
No, you're absolutely right. This is what I want to do to the day I die. I don't care if they put that on my tombstone. This is how passionate I am. I'm not saying this to kiss your ass. I'm not saying that, to blow smoke or put a mask on, or I'm not asking for sympathy. All right, I'm not asking for sympathy. This is what I want to do to the day I die. I actually found something that I enjoy, that makes me happy, and it's my way of saying, yes, I can't read, I can't write, I fall under the spectrum of being retarded. I'm not qualified to do anything you do or anything my siblings do, but look at what I created for myself on part 2. But until we meet again, it was a real honor and privilege having me as a guest, and I'll catch you later.